de la je genge do ka ra kara e jo sa e pon de chun che ye boy genge lo san da se da e je boy ne dre she so Denge nangwa e sende e bede de jeze ala ma e gebe e zon krai. Ta lo e nde be se na im shinjo do temba e je che e ge ja e sho so. She ja e jenge e je be a lo de do e ke sa e na be e genjo e le she. Rabbe bege la me zebe ko tonde dembe dende la cha ye wo che ye na zo me do da de shen do be nan ze de sha wo shan ye de che de ja zo de se na em she jo che la ye che boy be kan she ye do me a de ne a sa ba yang a ye ye me ye ji ge ke bara ye dong ba ye sun ge me de cho ni ne a je ba ye da be so so ne me a de de man de do bla che ye a pon be ye de jo de ye che kombo e ke la jan zeba na ja e samba ta be ye ra ngo je je la ma ya tam ba e ke na she go e ka la e chen je e den de je da ya zan be e de je e ze ma la e sa je e che ge e char ba ab do nam da ye se yin le shen ba son jo e ko la e chan no mi nga ta me na ngo ye so bo e ra ba je nan ye bar do e me no ye dem ba na ye ji ni sa be ge wa en da en do wa ge la e kan be ke bra e ji zhen lo sa en da ba dembe nyem bo e ren do e se je sho me me a ye ze ve a ye de chen che re che me a ye ken be wang bo e jan be ya de bo e ma le jom ze a ye san ve kan je en ge be a ye zo je a ye zong ka ba lo san en da be a ye sha la e se wa me me a ye ze ve a ye de je en che re se te me a ye ken be wang bo ye jan be de bo ye ma le a ye jom ze a ye san ve kan je en ge be a ye zo je an zong ka lo san en da be a ye sha la ye se wa me me a ye ze ve a ye de je en che re se te me a ye ken be wang bo ye jan be de bo ma le a ye jom ze a ye san ve da kan je en ge be a ye zo je a ye zong ka lo san en da be a ye sha la ye se wa mal de a ye za ve la ma ye ren bo ye na ge a ye che wo ye be me a ye den sho ka de a ye chen be a ye ko ne a ye che son de ko son yan to ge mo zho ye ze do se bal de a ye za ve la ma ye ren bo ye na ge ni ga ra ye be me a ye den sho la ka de a ye chen be ko ne a ye che son de cho da ya de mo ye ngo zho mu do wa de an za ve la ma ye ren bo ye na ge ni ga ra be me a ye den sho ka de a ye chen be ye ko ne a ye che son cho da ya de bardo dem shu oya masaim jeme shiraya bare Magaya megaya namgaya ngo so na dia yeshia cheyu Nizoim gaya yom la cha lo de ya gade paraya samgade bodaya soha Deya tha onye gade paraya samgade bodaya soha Deya tha gade paraya samgade bodaya soha Ingerian tonta ege joy shewa Medene megenda tewa Embayan juji bin zoyam zojun Tashi den chai den del Sho ya saji bi shi joy shi me to ya tam Re ra ya le shi ni de ge ba de San je shi no ya me de wa ye Joy ge nam da shi la che bara sho ye daim guru na mendela kana ya da ya me Sogi chonam la jancho bardo tane chapsu che dagi chiju gebe sonam ge dola penje sanje do bara sho chetan sogi chonam la jancho bardo tane chapsu che dagi chiju gebe sonam ge dola penje sanje do bara sho chetan sogi chonam la jancho bardo tane chapsu che dagi chiju gebe sonam ge dola penje sanje do bara sho
Sivje tabiye to topjalana mayan da ozo sayı komora bicini ya tabari tişin tabi şese nyembe kunu şajusim şemas çinci sezemi sembal his.
For the benefit of all the sentient beings, generate the highest motivation to achieve the highest motivation. For that, with this motivation, may I able to listen and receive these teachings. So from onwards, I'm going to give you the oral transmission of this Lamrim Chemo. So please listen.
Hajinji dewe cherro del jo shene ladon gombe ni dengi kunji de shene ladon ge ngo ne go gomo go jite koren de so so de dong ni te wo ji de ji de ba do ji de de ji shene de ladon ge de wo Abo go de shaba ni de no je wa shao ji de na je wa di je wa na je ge ji de wa ji de wa ta ta ji shi ne de la dong ge de wa ye wa ro jo xie zo je ro shi ne da la ba ne ni gong jung to bi ju je de ma yin yon de ta ta je de ni je de wa shi de te ni na wa shi ne da la dong ge de xie wa je wa da gong jung to bi ju je yon de Tewaje da de je je wa mai jang ge me ba la so je je wa ye je de ge shi ne sha de la wa shi da wa shi ne je bi so je bi sha de wa ge wa na la dong sho so ju la de te la go de wa so je de de je shi da de wa sung bi ge wa me de la wa go ni te ba che bo la te wa go bi do li chang Tewa dewa dole jore ipu namdan de nam je da shen so tewa shibu le sho je ngoro 대단히 남을 마이 심지 동당 동도 쇼한다 바라 삼비비 삼어조래 버저 이 마이미 심이 신의 쇼심제 저인다가 동당 동양다 바라 최 동당 쇼야다 버서劳动说的些人不听那对问你，因为当时说的那些人这个我都没有是这就如果一件做工的结果说的为这方面的员工这里，结果就交不一了那。现在我讲的那个年纪希望当财媒经理，他们这些说对了。那个年的一起接老公的，我的那个手机了，那边把这当财嘛的一起接老我把这些把我就用把这的说我当阿妈老多个帮我什么我现在就我写把写几名我写的那里，写了他也在陪我一起。希腊他也马达也通着我上的到现在就陪我说我那讲的你陪的小时候一般，别那行动不拉眼嘎当当没得这边他不去讲，他可能对不对？那早也没得，他不是有个这个人他也去干着他就讲，看对不对？他们那现在劳动人的过这里也一定那么当时说那第一个那。땡인지 나버 토마테와 코인바 테다 타제시 라동 그디버버 제시소로 되나 땡인지 돈도 녀바네 세여와 타여바 제제버라 미니 땡인지 군지 지칭시라가 니지 종주레버 제제 제 뒤에거는 때와 차도 거는 타말레 텔라조데 제제소나 땡인지 타데버 세베 바지베와 라서바데세 시 라도니 땡이 타제라 차베나 시네도 라도 손도 저저베라 디저 쉐와다 고르 고림 파발레 저티 땡이 타제 지데베 시네 저 탑제지 티 타제데가 시네 녀바 신내도 학동라 대바시 셰소다로 소발이라 신내게 뭐네 고들레 대지베 버도 나데다다 바샤니 비설레 버도 시다르리 버서 비시다 일레 세관이라 시비세 대 농디 윤샤소 일로 시비 어이 시도 대다르 휴이들 텔라 레버데 네버들 루시도 잡아라 스미신도 여쭤보고 관이바데 신이 이제데 되셔서 신의 용서도 저이는 실수가 따로 뒤또 손라야나 주인제 또 강에 버셔 부모로서 또 강이로시 미리 신의 텔라 미베베서 신도 메어 진시지 윤샤서 부모데 다베 스미 세메발라 랑게 루시 신도 정위 가와께 왔는데 제 신에서 저데 데스 세제 네네 세미발레 메어 나도 소마장레 저지 뭐버데 관에 코디 저발 메도 소 라돈 뭐니 노도 티니레 달리 신도 장와 신도 장와데 도네 디라네 디세니 남버방 신기 남버방네 세다르 서비스 땡에데 주 송예 대소서라다 시부 소소 소소도 바시 모바시도 되나 땡에데 주 송예 대달 시지 도데 나바르 저바르 나바지바 뉴스다 뉴스 저바다 세바다 대와다 시다디 저바다 따와 나바도 바케메劳动协在的这是什么劳动了确保因为协助不大陆，他的群众其实劳动其实过嘛些的，现在不来的，他的嘛现在过嘛需要一些。
So Geshe read the transmission from the page 13 to the 16 until the like. In the middle page of 16, like.
对，他知道嘛？下全部的他爹的看见， 다 고네 마 에네 집이 숭을람시 랭을람시 에네 집이 쉐불람네 티버 티저저 고셔 셈제 와서 제발롭지 디나다 저주 셈제 제발롭지 파지 제발 찔러셔야지 파지 담보 실럽지 에네 파지 타만 실랍지 타 파지 타만이 실랍지 되다 이 신엘랍지 라동랍지 인디레스
So we're going to start from this the penetrative in serenity and insight, and here in general that in this numbering text that there are three scopes of teachings, that first the smaller scope, middling scope, and the high scope. So right now that and out of that, like, and out of 6 perfection, that the Geshe is going to explain the last 2 perfection in this topic based on the serenity and insight.
No, that 가지고 건데 기우성이 나이를 마시고 와 시대디 기부 충분 나오는 자는 희라고 말어. 다 치매 원도 좀 동의하고 다 기부 늘 타가 동의하고 하셔도 기부 능다 기부 시험 쓸라비나 기부 다 시험에 있는 심제다에도 사유 공부도 되긴 들어와. 그래서 기부 능다 있는 시험 인 남칸 라비나 있는 신을 하도 메나 있는
So therefore, like in this 3 scope, this smaller scope, medium, and the high scope, like usually in the smaller scope that you don't have to study and practice on the serenity and insight or the vipassana and shamatha, but whereas in the other 2, the middling scope and the high scope, that since the main intention is to achieve liberation and enlightenment for this 2 scope, this second, third scope, therefore that without practicing on serenity and insight, there's no way to achieve the realization. That's why that we have to touch base on this topic.
디나리아 에네 디스몰 가르사 토르든지 세르다 토르든지 곰제시스 요와 다 토르든 토우스나 에네 세르손은 디그레스 다 에네 토르세도 다 마자 타와토고 거와 타와토죠 어디 토고나 인지 민시 에네 곰자는 길라도는 뭐겐 토토고 말이스 어디서 말이스
So even like the Abhidharma, the treasure of knowledge, also it's expressed that for achieving the higher fortunate rebirth or higher rebirth, that you have to have the proper morality or vow and precept. But in order to achieve the to liberate from cyclic existence and to achieve realization, then you have to practice the serenity and insight.
다들 두 신을 신의 달라동 곰비 페용스 디딩이지 디시 그이 디시 때문에 신의 달라동 무 니가 곰비 유제 이 고능에 비치 소소 곰주스 다 사지 조도와
So therefore, like to explain about this serenity and insight, there's 6 parts, as it's written here, the benefit of cultivating serenity and insight, showing that these 2 includes all states of meditative concentration, the nature of serenity and insight, why it is necessary to cultivate both, and how to be certain about their order, and how to train in each. And so there are 6 parts.
다 사지 조노래 다 동보들 티버시지 에 tikpa chechungu yondin jikdepa jikdilin dewa tamji shine laudong dribu yinde papa goba dewa shamba yang yinde nam jam shangshi sawa nam ki ti shiba da yigewe shi dewa ni jikdilin dewa tamji jang shine laudong ki dribu yinba rewa shiwa she sumi shiro she zanda nguyo sam tiga jitima shina ene tikpa shibu yonde ganga ene hilanyi nam dogo waris 그래서 다딩이 다 애니 셔럽니 디지 디는 도어 어디 저거레스 예수 비셔서 that or the that 신의 활동 신의 활동의 검증탑이 유연다들 that or already sharing it.
So that's why, like as here he explains about, like whether it is you're practicing Mahayana or Hinayana, for to achieve in this the mundane world or supramundane world, like all depend on the single-pointed meditation on wisdom. So that's why, like without these two, that there's no way to engage into these two vehicle.
어제 저도 티바시는 그 지대는 대회 요새다 뒤에서 지대와서는 다 되시고 가게 럼juk 개변하리야 방마도 그 소저인이 지대면 남세 엔 통로인지 대에 지대면 대회 남세로 어떻게 건가에는 디 신의 다동 뒤에서 어딜라르다.
And these mundane normally, which explain about this with the mundane and supramundane qualities, which explain normally the mundane means those who are following the path of like cholamna joram reolagi, cholamna joram.
어디서 다 전에 신의 다 뒤에 라드잖아. 다 텔레비게 배나 티버시 연대 단위에는 신의라도 가는 배 타고 말아 와서 뒤에 약 연례도 제발해도 와 신의라고는 고주도 연대 마이나 연대 때다 단지 에 뒤니 디버시다 때냐는 신의라도 뭐니 셔져도 고주도 연대 임로 배 티버시 연대 때지 뒤니 디버 마이장 계획을 제지고 연시 등이지 나니 신의 초 수들라 시다오 신입의 집에 소지 셔라 여와다 활동 쇼서 뒤 telagón tigoso yendo tayi shilao dio songbi yewa medo stedi ene tal shilai duise adi yemetsu duise go maris shini ngosum ti cho la dong go di sho di ni shina ene dingi je zaji wa yeji de shini do do chora na je chidao shini je sharo kare di ga ene la dong sho do go wa shin jo da ene pige kada just
So as this earlier translation is why this the practice of like mundane practice means those who are engaging into like the path of preparation and is we call the proper preparation and path of accumulation. Those who are engaging into these two paths is called the mundane practice, and those who engage as supramundane is normally like I think those who engage above the path of seeing and above is called the supramundane mundane practice. So in this both, since it's the Mahayana and Hinayana practitioner, so it is either these two is considered as mundane practice and supramundane. And then now about the the question raised about is like, does it like all the realization or the achievement that really belong to this serenity and insight? So that's why it's trying to explain about not, even though that not all the good qualities is included within this within these two, but anything that is the virtuous, the actions that help to lead the higher state of realization, that includes all this. That's why, like as in general, that since all the good qualities and virtuous qualities that the virtuous object that are classified into the serenity and then insight, that's why that that is okay to say that all the realization is included in these two.
대박 거면 도세 어디 나는 엔티를 좀 해야지. 저주서만 타지 얘네 대박 집들 줘 거지하롱 데스. 얘네 대탑이 넘버 많이 셈지 동당. 최는 양다가 삼벌 쇼를 해봐서 해송 데스. 대리 간지다 디티워서 대박 거면 돌래 저주서만 이 티워서 뭐 티버심을 쇼가 거지하롱 시 연대 가리는 세월와 어디다 넘버 많이었으니 신의 쇼체 최야다가 삼을 쇼를 해봐서 최야 삼을 쇼한테 이劳动了와 我现在地里呀，那我当，那个是说到我这个现在我对我也是，这个的这个的。
So that's why, like here, which also explain about this, that why that all these the good qualities and realization is like even though it's not included within these two, the insight and the serenity is because of like since all the Hinayana practice and Mahayana practice that is included in these two vehicles through like sustained analysis with discerning wisdom and one-pointed focus on object of meditation. So this is the reason that that includes in these two, the serenity and insight.
没有说的心里说在这边那点现在同样的学样的不是嘛呢？劳动说的学着不是的在现在的在城里家的啊，同那就些，但那听不见有的在说的现在这个我当，美国在这中国啊，人们都觉得那这个说着话的心里长大，劳动长些呢，那就头嘛的，希腊送的过的，是他同那在这的。
And also these two has to go together, all this serenity and insight has to go hand to hand together. If you try to practice just serenity and avoiding the insight, it won't lead anywhere or reach anywhere. Even if you try to skip the serenity and just focus on insight also, it won't lead. So it has to go together to achieve.
我这咱做工的这个说的这个面试，做工现在开始是哪里那边呢？sem pila ten ta yu kar dangme li bu na da metal li bu na kar che ma la gol me bu na ko de sem tel be chamba ten ne pi che je di pi sem tel sha del en de se da jogom le ko da ro ta yuje samota ne ni che wa shin gum ya do la en je gum se ko be na de da ngon zo be na da nam yu ye ba do shen da ko do do je we na en meeting so that there's government and they could never maboshe na in the meeting that ega to do this on la ngal ne was die she so se de juze mango so do konzo share shi do do o dilta jegum se go ro ko juze so do ne ya lo shu she do jegum se go ro ta sem ko be big ba la good do kar te ge tel ko mala shi ni jia de la jogum se do she ta ngon jegum so ganga 먼저 남기다 지금 시세 유카가 되면서 지금 가가 요시 거들려 다 되다. 매주 지금 좀 마가 될 양저 유성도 당저죠. 양 잘라도 지 약버지 양 될배 요데 마보 성선 도자 휴셔도 오라. 그래서 지금 내가다.
So like all this includes in we call the analytical meditation and post meditation. So this the analytical meditation and post meditation is like sometimes like when you are like meditating on impermanent or meditating on meditational deity or any object, you focus and still your mind and then try to meditate. So that is we call the post meditation. And in that single pointed post meditation also, like sometimes like if you are just meditating, for example, any object, that like it really help you to achieve realization, like. And then the analytical meditation, even though the objects are same, but in analytical meditation is like when you, for example, when you're meditating like on anger or hatred, like when you focus too much and analyzing and proving the why and this and that, when you prove, then the anger will grow higher and higher. So that's how that it try to prove that when you analyze and trying to prove that why the anger happened, so it grows higher and higher. So as any object of desire also, like when you want to analyze to create more desire, so you prove this is this quality, this is this value, and all this when you check more and more, then your desire will grow more and more. That's how the analytical meditation applies in order to like.
我这里大别的南京讲的，前面一些的强势性质的工作上呢，这个啥， 유저 뭐 성도 공부할 배는 되랬다. 스비다 대화도 직과 동해문도 직과 엔 대담지 샤바니 이제 깨도 말이지.现在 심지에 탐제 인도서 자도만 봐서다. 마시베 마시용 거지. 마시베 내가 마시베 두두 찍 말이야. 두두에 당기면 나시고 될이야. 다들 세디 만나시现在 삼조시네. 인데도 소소 편도시요. 제가 진짜 유저 뭐 상도는 샤바니 깨고보다 어딜 제공해서 다가 샤주스 공야디 제공을 다가지.
So normally, like when you're practicing like analytical meditation, so in this, like for example, like a hatred, how you meditate and grow the hatred and anger. So same way as like when you're practicing love and compassion, also just focusing on love and compassion won't lead you anywhere or won't lead to achieve realization. So now we have to analyze that, like just practicing that, wishing every living beings to be free from suffering, and just wishing and just focusing on wishing everyone to achieve happiness, it won't help us to realize the love and compassion. So that's why now we have to go further, try to analyze, check that since that every living beings are like is a mother sentient beings. So now we have to check that how that mother sentient beings related. And since it's not every living being is like in the same time as a mother, like it's a different time zone. So that way, different situation. So when we check like that in every moment, so then eventually that we'll find that how the mother sentient beings are kind, how that we have to repay the kindness, how to we have to generate that in the absolute motivation or intention to free mother sentient beings from their suffering. So only with this checking, analyzing thoroughly, and then finally gaining this like true unconditional love and compassion towards beings, then only then we can be able to practice. So that's why this practice normally we call the Mahayana, the higher vehicle, highest scope of practicing on meditative, like serenity and insight.
어디 제가 어디 지금 시내는 유대사보다는 배 시제도 인제 선야도 동네 제로시는 선야도 대화도 내로시는 선야서 어디래 시네 이제 그 제바시에 탈바 될 그게 미국발에 동네 제르지 마롱 선야도 대화되는 지 마롱 선야서 득스바 미국발 해야 돼 조금씩 오래스 거기 지금 시시에 애니야 주동적 외적 조선 연텔 조금씩 어디 제도 배마스야 지고 오래스.
So that's why, like after checking and analyzing thoroughly about that, about what is the true meaning of love and compassion, and how that we have to generate this, firstly understanding about all the sentient being as a mother, then how they're kind and how to repay the kindness. After knowing everything in detail, then you finally that you find the true meaning and essence out of that. Then you finally wish that may all may all the sentient beings truly free from their sufferings, and you focus in that, and may all the sentient beings, mother sentient beings, achieve the ultimate happiness, and you truly focus on that. So that focus is called the single-pointed meditation.
피제르데 추기 모문의 용거 제가 다 제르버시는 이니 남도 강가들 베가야 말레스 남도들이야 이니 그게 냠슬란야게 이니 똑바다 파가야다 되자셔도 컨트롤 데지도 파가야들 마도지 남도 그 전세 강가 가야 말레스 뭐샤지 간들이 제바시네 이니 베 또바 길려버와 제가 남도 강가 가고 말레스 어디래 제세도와 조금도 지금 소리를 누가 매노스도와 제세도 다가 조금 지금 지금 말씀이죠 어디 말이지 신조 배마시고 그래서 되다 제르무시 피지 키주도 셔고 다른 것도 세가 연결시나 시다데 미 흉강게 고마데 뒤에들어와 이 취 라만도 세고인데 취주도 가시 그냥 넘도 가고 가고서 좀 말이야 어디 뒤시 좀 말씀으로 어디래.
So that's why these two, on the post meditation and analytical meditation, has to go like we call the like a lotus way of practicing, like just mixing together. Sometimes you practice post meditation, sometimes you practice analytical meditation. You mix together and then practice together. We call the lotus practice or something. And then some texts may often express about that one should not practice on analytical meditation, because when you analyze in every object of practice of meditation, then since like it will create more doubt and more doubt, and then more doubt will arise. When there's more doubt arise, then it will distance your practice, because it creates more doubt and doubt. So since if there's no solution, then you cannot practice. So sometimes some of the practitioner often encourage you should not do analytical meditation, because it will create more doubt, and doubt will arise more and more. So therefore, especially in the J. Rinpoche's point of view, he really emphasized that one should practice both together. First, you do analytical meditation, and then post meditation mixed together, because even though there will be doubt will be arise when you do analytical meditation, but at the same time there are many the good quality and realization will come up from the analytical meditation, so that doubt can be clear by analyzing that. So that's why you should mix together and meditate.
yang gong zhe de kar sa jiu yin de la dang dang xin de ko ba xin de ne ne ge ji xiang de ce me xiang nam ju ju xie song so sa da jiu jiao bo yi la dong dang jiao bo yi se na de me ro da nen zhe bo yam de len ge de si wo da la dong dang xin de ni ko ba xie wo wo re si da xin de la dong ko ba xin de ka ri wo se na en la dong de ne ge ni xiang wa se na da de re 에 당신다 아니 뉴모 비르디에 데는 방토레스 세메시와 남주 주시 세메시와서는 데려와 다 비나윙도 데 그래 땡에지 미디쇼 다 나윙 그르디고 텔라이네 세메시와서 그러와 세마스는 지다 세마스는 강주만지 세마스 다 세마스요 셰다 다다 희네도 고민도 잘 애는 비게 나인도 배우시 비고 재직도 세미네롱시 다 세미네롱디가 학동자는데 잘 애는 tellatene 애는 가도 되자 코들어서 배네 애는 매겨 쇼가가 방토 그래서 다 간지.
So here the text, what the sutra unraveling the intended meaning states that once people have cultivated insight and serenity, they are free from the bondage of dysfunctional tendencies and from the bondage of sign. Here, actually, the would normally it express about a great practitioner or the great hermit who really practice seriously about. So those who like practice and cultivate penetrative insight and serenity, they are free from the bond. Actually, it's a dysfunctional means it's like unfortunate rebirth or lower rebirth. Those they create the unfortunate rebirth. So they are free from those unfortunate rebirth. Those who have, and then the bondage of free from the bondage of sign, which is normally like those who are the obstacles that try to stop you or block you from single-pointed meditation, that the meaning that try to block you from focusing and understanding the single-pointed meditation, which is called the opposite to single-pointed meditation. So that will try to distract you and misunderstand you about those things. So that's why, normally they call the subject and object part of this practice. So these are the ones that will clear with these and free from those two bondage.
What is you that 유지 시질로 고는 제비 네바 생귤 네베 박자도 세다디 에는 냉행이 생활세 되게서와 가지 유지는 그게 고마시에서 엔도자 거르들 여사 근데 유지행사도 매번 소위 찾는 활동시 다 유지질로라 시들을 되서다 미베 유라 미베 유리 시질로 고비 더달라 야니 신의 시오에서 신의 셈 가와샤네 쿠즈미가 같은데 제주야 셈리루레자 이니 유일 거기 저는 유야도 매우 차로로现在 유시질로 방어디 신의 시도를 해서
So this is the reason, like why this go to the subject matter of a mind that will try to to what you call the unfortunate rebirth, or that see negatively in your mind stream that leads to unfortunate rebirth. Those subjective part of a mind can be clear by practicing the insight. And then objective part of the realization, because of like when you see the object in negatively, then it normally mislead different part that will try to stop you from single pointed meditation. So that's what that clears that object, and then to lead to have a higher fortunate rebirth, to see the fortunate part of your realization. So that's why it will clear your anything that distract you from single pointed meditation. That's the objective part that will be cleared by we call the sign the bondage of sign, that free from the bondage sign is that it cleared the objective part of that realization.
어디지 다디 혼디셔 되게 애니 신에서 라동 그게 타니 용행 배용 되게 그래서 있어. 다 신에 라동 그 타니 매어세 그래서 애니 삼대의 셰럽세요. 뭐 어디지 요번에 어디에 배용 셰셔 되게 다다들 지고 말했어. 누디 지고 말했어.
So that's why here they all explaining about this benefit of practicing the serenity and insight, and this also already explained in where we call the wisdom, the practicing on like perfections, on wisdom. Where is that now?
What is it? That is it. 이번에서 팀이라. 자, 신이라도 자와 인자를 그래서는 행동보다서 연가도 다음에 매도 주부타에 시에게 대달 건데 네 자에 받다 특별시는 게 땡인데 답지 타에 시에게 수되는 다디 되는 신에는 줘라. 어디서 이제 건라 되베 네 담바니 신에다 활동인데 어디다 땡이들에 뭐는 땡이들 pen powder 땡이서 땡이들 남상 쉬고 되면 땡이들 뭐 습절 샤워들이 레레카니 쉬우는 정도요 말아. 이제다 다 뒤에 가가지 뒤는 엔티 희는 남도 거레스. 저와 공대래 예 인도 남도 샤주서 남다. 뒤시바리 땡이들 남바트마 때바가이 바 대다타지니 희네다 나동그 되버려 보셔서 라 땡이들 땡이들 저거 제면도 땡인지다 혈흔이 들어가. 라동.
So here that as all this in the insight and serenity, even this is already explained in the we call the meditative stabilization and wisdom. In that subject already explained. So we are the Geshe is revising like again try to explain in also in this serenity and insight. Now here, like even though like the serenity and insight, there are so many different kind of practice serenity and insight. If you want to explain everything in detail, there will be countless practice, but that all includes in these two, which is in the serenity and insight. So that's why it's not explained everything here. So because everything is included within these two. That's why here even the sutra unraveling the intended meaning states that know the serenity insight includes all of the many aspects of the states of meditative concentration, which I have taught for Shravakas, Bodhisattva, and Tathagata.
Tino dingi zinya nangi, sewa tayewa, zejewa banibi, dingi zi kungi, ching shila nyingi, yunzu likwa zeje la, tugu du tenpa shadis. So this is that dingi zi ko nalo zina pawa dhawa doji dhawa siyadu, dira mingre la dina, en dira di shera la taga na shidawa chiba shiyu shiwa sari yorwa. Shida, in sherab da dingi di rereka di shida tayewa rawa. In that thing to do, and the share of the Ladon, the thing is the Gagashi and
So even though there are many the single-pointed meditation, like such as like the hero-like the single-pointed meditation, or the vajra-like meditation, single-pointed meditation, and so on, they are countless. But it all include in this two, the serenity and the insight, even that the meditative stabilization or single-pointed meditation, and even the wisdom also included within this two.
What did it? What thing is the Gomers? What did it? She the Jidong that and the Shung the Shedas in this or that. Tava Tarish about Tom the Manana, any Hinel Ladon Gomia, say your Maris. Sigari. But the things I said be. Karsa hine gumya rese ne bige karsa sim hind mayin bige jogum zor shia di tarzo shebu redo chida di ya tarba da tamji che gyul kayde pejin du me kan che di so sim devo me da inde mi waji gomchi sim te go de sim ko yang bu ji wo re ge yasaro chida de so de tingza gom di ji ji ede be lobda shebu de da inde ji hiru ya du 도나시르세 도나시야데 먼저 쇼니 셔나 신게 이 공자의 hil라성리 터네 이 타바탄 셔 동들이 제고 말와 이시는 딱그런 되게 수심을 딱지 가서 가린 디그면은 다 뺀내가 뺀조다고 또고나서 가리 가지 샘디 시다 투윈드잖아 인심이 과지 때네 미 제라서 담 시다 바까 하기데 흘려 차고 있어라 디렉트다 공부하러. 가서 다들 이 시에단데 디렉트다 고야데 말이지. 이 힘을 하동세 타바 탐지시마 토야리 뭐 이제 내가 비게 대화께 디렉트께서 가 말이지.
So here, the whole purpose of practicing this, the serenity and insight, is to help us to liberate, to come out from the cycle of existence, and then to achieve the fully enlightenment, the omniscient mind. So that's the whole purpose of explaining here in these stages of the path to enlightenment, or Lamdam Chenpo. And but these days, that as Geshe has explained, that we often see that many of people, they try to do lots of analytical meditation or post-meditation, and without having the proper understanding about the true Dharma. So like in school or college or university, they explain and they try to meditate. Even though their main aim is not to achieve or to liberate one from the cyclic existence of samsara or achieve omniscient mind or enlightenment, but just to bring peace and relax in their life. Maybe they have lots of difficulty and a problem, so that's why they try to meditate. Actually, in a real practitioner, in Buddhist, they don't promote for that. Our main aim, in order to apply this to the serenity and insight, is to help us to liberate ourselves from the cyclic existence of samsara and to achieve the full enlightenment. So that's why that we see lots of differences in practicing this too.
就是其他定义的人们包着这个东西都是的，那确实的话呢，定义的人们现在他也是，我这忙不说的，因为最低呢，现在劳动能入都现在的现在劳动些意思，我记得个人他妈的送多，第四个的个人他们呢，现在劳动的点的，能被土木买不着些呢，看见东西里面被你写了写的话。但是沙甸那些，把我东西点呢，现在土木现在么子，没些个东西的，没个现在可以写嘛了吧？现在南边写了个土木没有就写的，东西里面的工人他们写的话，那沙甸写的这现在土木的，现在定义的主要的过的这个我定这是。
So here in this the Kamala Shila's third stages of meditation, which says that although the Bhagavan therein presented distinct bodhisattva concentration beyond numbers or measure, serenity and insight, cover all of them. Therefore, we all discuss just that path which unites serenity and insight. So that's why we already explained that there are so many different kind of practice in our different practice, but it all include in these two. And and this one, especially in the Buddhist point of view, this penetrative insight or serenity and insight, they always try to focus on the like emptiness, to realize emptiness, so that with these can help the cut down the root of samsara. But in general, that when they explain that they don't mention that, so that's why like especially in the Lamrim text, they emphasize on the emptiness, the realizing wisdom, focus on the emptiness to achieve these two. So that's why like you may find in other that without what you call the object of meditation is not those Buddhist point of view, so you'll find different meaning on that.
我这到让工人，现在的工人疼，爬出来的话，可能，那么干嘛来工人他们你这爬出来工人他们什么样？第一个希腊工人的话，我这好像是在我现在好像旁边那天怎么写文件的话，我怎么写的是的话，我这工人他们什么写的那我这里现在到工人爬出来。定义他地位是那什么他就提你就是的当希腊人的是吧？定义他地位是，地位那什么他就推他就的是，你把这现在劳动过把些的些什么大罗是，现在他希腊人定义的刚刚听的对着我这是，现在他那什么是呢？开始说他老是人，老是两个人，如果不着的是我吧，如果不就是人家推他就的，人。
So this also like here the Kamalashila second stages of meditation, which since those two includes all stages of meditative concentration, all yogis should at all time definitely rely upon serenity and insight. Here like this text was, I think, what Geshe is saying, that when there's the Human Sang, the Chinese practitioner, when they have a debate on this serenity and insight, so after they had a debate, maybe he lost the debate, and then after that, this text was composed. So those who definitely want to free from the cyclic existence of samsara has to engage into this serenity and insight. So that's why it's like it's explained in this text.
Da sobani hini mun da hini se kandeji hini se gorsana gondele ditchik bu ember do des no do ya da ya shira sabe da khoji da sim karsa ember do des se ene embe ne sol se gorwa no do ya da sha ne no sim shirul mai no do ya da leba sha de sabe shwe de da ni shwe de da yi la shi da mi ba kare de na 美国经常电过，大概这，他姑姑知道呢， Shini Miguel Karishina, Dolim, Salimina, what Chilimina, Silimina, Karim, Miguachamada, Karishina Duorva. Yina, Thomas Shini do the Migua Karel Megina, Chigla Megmodo, and the young Terry young be Lagudos big. Sunny young Timber young Sheda, Sim Miguado, she Migua Jena, any Shini do two more, is what I Migua Chig. She would case him. Check the Karishina do or did it. Or this is your this or that tells him Yanda, she said the Tagasi in the school. What is there's in the Pentagon? Yanda, Yandu come in due to the Congo. He need to add this or not the Zuhins of a nation or Zuhins had to do the and Zuhins on the Darji Shene. Member of the Yate, it's a young Alas, young, she's a good member of Shago Marva. She said, she knew good, she knew Marta Party, any what took the Egypt Congo with the young. Yamaka, the young Shah, took the good, and he didn't do Maris.
So here, the number C, the nature of serenity inside, here it shows those who are practitioner, like those who isolate yourself, living in an isolated place, and then focusing inside to practice on serenity inside. So those who focus, even though at the time when you focus inside, the object of meditation one can use as the Buddha statue or God or goddesses or even the stone or flowers or candlelight. You can use any object of meditation, but actually the difference in Buddhists is they try to emphasize more on using the enlightened object. Now, when you use the object of meditation, even though you can use any object of meditation, but you cannot change the object of meditation. Today I meditate on stone, next day I meditate on water or flower or the god, or next day goddesses. So if you keep on changing the object of meditation to achieve a realization, then one will never achieve or reach any goal. You cannot focus at all or cannot achieve. So that's why there's so you have to continuously focus into the same object of meditation without changing, and then it's like what Geshe is saying is it's like the stone that rubbed and to make a fire. So you have to try to rub until that create a fire. If you just leave it if it doesn't make a fire, you cannot just leave it. So you have to rub it or heat it and until that it makes a fire. So that means in order to achieve this serenity and insight, you have to focus into the object of meditation, just not once or twice, but continuously until that you create a fire, until you achieve the realization. That's how that it needs a continuity of your practice into the object of meditation.
What is your that consider those that young this Jun Shakba said Nedin said Karshina was the country Kunju Mongo said this or Kunju Mongo said in direction the consummate Simigualia in the nature Chigo Mayor said Miguel Kawashana and the so the Kazishan had been in central. I should do that in shot at the show or so this house on intelligent sim called Liru Yuringo son is in the same Shinjan she had to the same country Kale Megai any piggy Karsa nobody live or that country you want you got the Shana any Bekaleka dogs and mail shed any similar rooms to what. In Tana, you loop they can talk they can choose some they can any Bekaman Bomana, so they can associate me machine, Lulu rooms are shy or what did it show this? Gomja did top ye, any big Karsa Zada to the young any number maybe in the assembly, the Louis the Sol and Medega singing pig gig of the mayor. She has some yellow chagres. Or this chagres or this teacher is that teacher didn't tell this and the same the Lerun Rene, tell it then in the legally reject Chavaji ladies or that Luke so will be meteo meba ndona le singbe da yang ba sigmundi ngado do si jugo shebo yoro dire meba lu singbe da yang ba sia do lu le rung cha gris ti lu le rung ke de lu sing ja sia tie sa ne di sem de ne en sem sing ja sia de jo yang jo to ya jo sia da o di sing ja sing so na en de la hine si or is ka da mi ba ze ji be ne en sing ja se be en dingen de jela en hine la or is da mo do
So, so that's why, like, living in isolated place or solitude place and focusing inward into the object of meditation, in the same object of meditation, and you stay as long as you can, as much as you can. So when so it's like we have to create that practice meditating and create a habit of staying into that object for longer period of time, as long as you can. So then eventually, like when you make that habit, then the more you practice, more you meditate, it will make you like interested or enthusiasm. It builds that enthusiasm in concentrating. So that's why eventually that when you reach certain level of your practice, then your mental becomes so powerful to focus that it eventually they clear the doubts from this mental doubt. So that's why the time will come that your mind won't get tired of focusing into that object of meditation. That's the time it's called the mental pliancy that you gain from there, that you won't get tired easily. And then together with even the physical body also, since you train yourself to sit and then focus into the object of meditation and that eventually, because of focusing into this object of meditation in such a long period of time, then you come to the point that you'll achieve the physical fluency. That means that your inner nervous system or chakras or channel will start opening. So when it start opening your chakras and the channel, then your body will become like a cotton. It's light. Your body will become light. Like right now, whereas we are right now, it's like a stone actually, like heavy. It's like so. Then once you reach that level of the practice, then it'll become like a cotton, so light and easy to like practice, and then there's a joy. So this is how the great the practitioner who really want to focus, one should go into that way to achieve the serenity and insight.
어디다 신장신장선에 가려선 데려다 거타니로 신장선 야 가리는 시라 신장선 샘 신장선은 샘디기 비게다 제바시고 연다 미발 제지디 때 샤이나 가려는 근데서 유증부 비게 가지 추조 뭐뭐 니샤디를 샤샤네 애도 소소베 최마이나 샘을 메서 메바 다가랑 시도가 좋아요 그죠로 어tel 샘 신장라 그러와 다 Lui said is it a total dinner any because Lui no show the nation the total nation and inzidation like any big cursa, Pimonaya, so they get sort of she, and then Mateo death, should take the Nates, sure. Or today, Kati dinner be Lui less room. Any cursa, today big cursa, Kangizan Meva, Kati did so to be Bibilan Rujuto, Kazi did Madojil. Tell Medeo the museums and Medeo Diligilla in Lucian Sigoris.
So now what the pliancy means. Pliancy means like, for example, when you are meditating mentally, you're using to focus into this object of meditation for such a long period of time, and then when you achieve, reach certain realization, then your mind, you can focus into that even like day and night without distracted by any other distraction. So that time that when you won't get tired of focusing into that object, that time you call as the mental pliancy. And then physical pliancy means like when we sit down and meditate in this object, sitting in meditation positions and cross leg, like there's no knee pain or back pain or headache or like no such thing, but you get such a like enthusiasm, like so much like focus into that, like you won't even physically, you won't get tired, won't get sick or pain or in anywhere. Like it become like your body and mind becomes so suitable, so like simultaneous, like it's like unconditional, like you just practice. So that's the time that when you become like that, then it is called the physical appliancy that we call sometimes. It's like your body is ready to use in any form, anything that you can use, you can divert into that part. That's the physical appliancy.
ngō jē sā tā tī sū tā 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 jē tī rō dīshī jē tā tā hīnē tā lāk tō sā yā tā kā rē sē na anī sū yā tō ngā wā jē pūpō lā tōng kā yā rō wā sē tā chū kā rē tā mī kā dī rē sē bā sē mī bā hīnē lāk tō mī bā kā rē tā chē wā sē na yu tū chē nē anī tē lā mī bā sēm tī hē tū mī yō wā anī tē hī kā bē tē shī shī tē nē anī sēm tē bē nām tō tā nām yīng kā mā jō shē nē anī bē kā lē rūng chā bā jīn shūng wā lē anī hīnē sē wā rī mā tā chē lā tē lā yā tōng yu tō kō yā rō hīnē tō wā lā shī lā tō wā lā tōng yu tō kō yā rō chā jū sēm chē kō yā rō tē tā kā yā mā rē sē wā tē shī nā tō mō hīnē rā hī lā rā wā.
So that's why, like, what is the serenity and insight is like once your mental and physical becomes so ready and to like that unconditionally can divert into the meditation and sit and in any meditation position, focus into any mental object without distracted by anything. That is called uh, uh, the in serenity and insight. And here, that's why, like here in general about the serenity and insight, it doesn't shows about that the object of meditation has to be the emptiness or compassion or love and compassion or patience and tolerance. It is not necessary that you can use any object and then that will lead you to gain that the mental pliancy and physical pliancy. That is called the serenity and insight.
wā tē tā tē hīnē sā tē shē lāk tō ngō nā dō tīngi lā gōng rē lā rō gōng rē lē sē lī khē tī jāng wā sēm khē tī jāng wā tē kō tō nē tīngi lā nē tē sēm jī nā mbā pāng tē sē shē tā sēm bē tō sā nī tēngi zīng jī chū sōng yē tē sō sō tā bā shē bō bā shē tē tā tēngi jī sū yī chū sōng yē tē tā tē hī jē tōng nā mbā jē wā rāb tē nā mbā jē wā tō yōng sū tā wā shē yōng sū chē wā shē wā tō sui dā dē dā hī tā jē wā tā wā dā nā mbā tō bā khāng yē bā tē tā lāk tōng shē shā tē tā rī shāng rī sēn bā lāk tōng lā sē chē wā yī nō shē sū mā tā rō sā tē tā hī nē tē sē mī kwa lā bē kē nē wē tō bā jī tō bā wā tā lāk tōng tē sē hī nē tō tsā nē hī nē sō tsā nē ānī mī kwa mā shō ngā lī chē bā shē nē ānī chē bē tō jī bē kē yāng lū sū lū sū rō ngā tī kē bā rī tō yā yu sē rā wā tī tō sō na ānī tē lāk tōng sē kē rē sē wā tā.
So here also that the same, which is again explaining in as, which is as to the nature of insight, the same sutra says, which is, I think, which is the sutra unraveling the intent, that meaning, I think, and in that also explained that all the serenity, which is like when you have that power to focus in any object and can stay as long as you can, that when you dominate like into the object or meditation and stay as long as you can, that is called the serenity. And then the penetrative insight is the one that when you in the object of meditation, you can be able to analyze. So Sisa here you can see with like with making a full differentiations into the object, and through examination on the object of meditation, and through analyzing and forbearing variance, wishing, and differentiations of particular view, all thought is called insight. So that's why when you have that, all these qualities you gain through analyzing the object of meditation, that is called insight.
dire, she's dire, that number Jiva, Shabda number Jiva say, dire, you Jiva Shidi Kavara, Kanta Yamaja, Toda, Hijang Singova, Shivu Mangoya, Tia Hine Ladoni, and the Jivares. Kavado Karis and Hine Tawut to the and Jogum Sosha to say, Toga, Ladon, the Jigum Sosha, she talk as your mother, and Shingu Tegoyada. Any the same
So that's why before we focus into or achieving this mental and physical pliancy with the help of serenity and insight, prior to that you have to go through the analytical meditation and post meditation. With the help of this analytical meditation, post meditation, and wisdom, that eventually that will lead you to practice this serenity and insight, and with the help of that then you gain the mental pliancy and physical pliancy. So we're going to stop here, and now that we have to prepare for the talk. In 15 minutes we'll prepare and do the talk offering today. Yes. Okay. No, Manjushri, huh? Lama dang gombo gange lo de debnye dende ni da nam da rab se ve jinye denge jije se ni ge do ga le bom ze kanda se ve chen ra ma re men dom do nge ge se ro zo gen lam bo je da se yen de ru jo yang den so ro da che ro ni mo ni le ge ja ro de ze je ma re men se do nge ni go jinye je ze Tenenda Jesa Jeta Yende Lezo Gese Tui Chuta Chudan Chuni Gente Dale Mensel Jambe Yan La Endi Omara Bazana Marabazam Marabazam Omara Bazana Zeden Keke Kenra Vezege Dale Demo Memba Rabse Kada Tenje Shunlo Toba Lo De Bobe Now Se do se sa she be she chun she me do tam re ra lin she nyen de gen ban de san je shin do me de yo wa ye do ge nam da shin la che bar e sho yi dam go ro re na men de kan ya ta ya amen.
I'm going to